Welcome to Bite-Sized L&D, your quick, no-nonsense update on the latest in workplace learning. Today, we'll delve into the transformative power of expert generalists and how their adaptability is reshaping hiring practices in the AI era. All right, let's get straight into it.
Hey everyone, welcome to Bite-Sized L&D. I'm Donna, and today I've got someone who's about to flip everything you think you know about hiring and developing tech talent. Yakov Lasker is here, and he's been deep in the trenches of software teams for years. Yakov, you brought something to my attention that honestly made me question every job description I've ever written.
Oh, you mean the 3-year Java requirement thing? Yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg, Donna. Here's what's wild. I've seen teams reject brilliant engineers because they knew Python instead of Java. Meanwhile, the Python developer could probably outperform half their Java team within a month.
Wait, hold up. Are you telling me that all those specific technology requirements we put in job postings are actually filtering out the best candidates?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And there's a name for the people we're accidentally filtering out. They're called expert generalists. Think about it this way. If you needed someone to navigate a new city, would you rather have someone who's memorized every street in downtown, or someone who understands how cities work and can read any map?
Okay, but that sounds like you're just describing generalists versus specialists. And didn't we already decide that T-shaped people were the answer?
That's where it gets interesting. Expert generalists aren't just generalists. They actually have deep expertise, but it's in the fundamentals that transfer everywhere. Like, instead of being a Databricks expert, they understand distributed data systems. Instead of mastering AWS configuration syntax, they get cloud-native architecture principles.
Oh, so it's not shallow knowledge across everything. It's deep knowledge in the stuff that matters everywhere?
Exactly. And here's the kicker. These people often make better specialists than the specialists themselves, because they can see the bigger picture. They know when not to use their favorite tool.
This is making me think about our entire approach to skills development. I mean, we spend so much time and budget on certification programs. Are we doing it wrong?
Well, let me ask you this. How much correlation have you seen between certifications and actual performance?
Honestly, not much. Some of our best performers couldn't care less about certifications, and some of our certified folks still struggle with complex problems.
There's your answer. The article I've been diving into mentions something fascinating. They've seen engineers versed in fundamental algorithms solve Kubernetes issues that stumped multiple certified administrators, because they understood the underlying patterns, not just the specific tools.
Wait, that reminds me of something. We had this situation last year where our data team was completely stuck on a project, and this developer from our web team, who had never touched data engineering tools, figured out the problem in like 2 days.
What did that person do differently?
They asked a ton of questions, like annoyingly thorough questions, and they kept saying things like, "This reminds me of when we handled caching issues," or "Isn't this similar to how we manage user sessions?"
That's expert generalist behavior right there. They were pattern matching across domains. And I bet they weren't afraid to look ignorant while they learned, right?
Oh my god, yes! They were constantly saying, "I don't understand this part, can you explain?" The data team was actually a little frustrated at first because they thought it was slowing them down.
But here's what's brilliant about that approach. By admitting ignorance and asking foundational questions, they forced the specialists to articulate assumptions they'd never examined. That's where breakthroughs happen.
So if I'm hearing this right, we need to completely rethink how we identify and develop these people. What should we be looking for instead of tool expertise?
Great question. There are actually 6 key traits that keep showing up. First is curiosity. Not just, oh, that's interesting, but genuine drive to understand why things work the way they do.
Like our web developer, who wouldn't just accept the Stack Overflow answer?
Exactly. They want to understand the answer, not just copy-paste it. Second is collaborativeness, but not just being nice. These people actively seek out others with different skills because they know they can't know everything.
That's huge for us in L&D, because we're always trying to break down silos.
Right. And the third one might surprise you. Customer focus. Expert generalists use this as their filter for what to learn. They're not chasing every shiny new technology. They're asking, how does this help our users become awesome at what they do?
Oh, that's brilliant. It's like having a built-in prioritization system. What are the other traits?
Fourth is favoring fundamental knowledge over trendy tools. Like, they'd rather understand distributed systems principles than memorize Kafka configuration options. Fifth is having that blend we talked about. Broad skills with several deep specialties they've picked up along the way.
So not just shallow knowledge everywhere, but strategic depth where it matters.
Exactly. And the last one is what they call sympathy for related domains. Understanding how your work affects others. Like a UX designer who gets software constraints, or a database architect who thinks about how their design impacts the user interface.
This is where my head starts spinning, though. How do we actually interview for this? I can't exactly ask, tell me about your sympathy for related domains.
Ha! Yeah, that would be weird. But here's what works. Instead of asking about specific tools, ask about experiences. Tell me about a time you had to work in a completely unfamiliar area. How did you get up to speed? Or describe a challenging situation where you had to collaborate across different disciplines.
Oh, so we're looking for the stories, not the technical trivia.
Bingo! And here's a perfect example from the research. They once hired a process control engineer whose entire resume was industrial PLC work. No web development, no cloud, nothing that matched their job description. But the way this person talked about diagnosing control system failures and the questions they asked showed incredible learning agility.
And I'm guessing that person succeeded?
Became a respected technical leader and eventually a product owner. Rejecting them for not knowing their tools would have been a massive mistake.
But wait, I can already hear our CTOs saying, that's great in theory, but we need people who can contribute from day one. How do we handle that pushback?
That's the beautiful thing about expert generalists. They often do contribute faster than expected, even in unfamiliar territory, because they know how to ask the right questions, identify patterns, and learn efficiently. Plus, you only need one or two specialists on a team to provide the deep domain knowledge.
So it's not either or, it's both and?
Exactly. The magic happens when you have expert generalists working alongside specialists. The specialists provide depth and catch domain-specific mistakes, while the expert generalists connect dots across boundaries and unblock dependencies.
This is making me think about our career development programs. We've been so focused on creating advancement paths within specific technical tracks. Are we accidentally trapping people in silos?
You nailed it. When career progression maps one-to-one with vertical specializations, UI engineer to senior, UI engineer to UI architect, the message is stay in your lane or your growth stalls.
And then we wonder why our teams have communication problems and can't deliver features end to end.
Right. But here's what's exciting. When organizations start encouraging cross-pollination, amazing things happen. A business analyst starts writing code out of curiosity and becomes an outstanding tech lead. A front-end engineer dabbles in DevOps and suddenly understands why deployments keep failing.
So how do we actually encourage this without everything falling apart? I mean, someone still needs to own the databases, right?
Absolutely, the key is psychological safety and having those specialists available full-time. When expert generalists know they can ask dumb questions without judgment, and when specialists are responsive rather than gatekeepers, that's when the magic happens.
Speaking of magic, there's something else that's been bugging me. With all this AI stuff happening, are we even going to need human expertise anymore?
Oh, this is where it gets really interesting. Expert generalists are actually more valuable in the age of LLMs, not less. Think about it. Anyone can ask ChatGPT to write code, but expert generalists know how to ask better questions, critically assess the AI's suggestions, and adapt them to fit sound architectural patterns.
So they're not just using AI as a magic code generator, they're using it as a superpowered specialist they can consult?
Exactly. They approach LLMs the same way they approach human specialists, with curiosity, critical thinking, and an understanding of when to trust the advice versus when to dig deeper.
All right, I'm convinced this is important. But let's get practical. What should L&D teams actually do differently starting Monday?
First, audit your job descriptions. Replace tool-specific requirements with fundamental skills. Instead of 3+ years of Java, try experience with object-oriented programming and distributed systems.
That's going to ruffle some feathers with hiring managers.
It will, but show them the data. Teams with expert generalists often outperform specialist-heavy teams because they're more adaptable and have fewer bottlenecks.
What about our existing employees? How do we develop expert generalist skills in people who've been specialists for years?
Create opportunities for safe experimentation. Let people work on projects outside their usual domain. Encourage cross-team pairing. And maybe most importantly, reward learning and pattern recognition, not just delivering in familiar territory.
You know what? I think we need to fundamentally rethink what expertise means. We've been treating it like a collection of facts when it's really about learning agility and pattern recognition.
That's it exactly. True expertise is knowing how to learn and apply principles across contexts. The rest is just trivia that becomes obsolete every few years anyway.
So the next time someone asks me whether they should hire the Python expert or the Java expert, I'm going to ask them which one understands distributed systems and learns faster.
And which one asks better questions, collaborates across boundaries, and stays focused on customer value. Those are the people who'll still be thriving when the next big technology shift happens.
Yakov, this has been absolutely eye-opening. Before we wrap up, what's the one thing you want every L&D professional listening to remember?
Start treating expert generalist as a first-class skill. Name it, assess it, and train for it just like you would any technical specialty. Because in a world where the only constant is change, the ability to learn and adapt across domains isn't just nice to have, it's survival.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us on Bite-Sized L&D. If this conversation has you rethinking your talent strategy, you're exactly where you should be. Until next time, keep learning.
And that wraps up today's podcast, where we explored the growing importance of expert generalists who thrive on adaptability and cross-domain skills in our AI-driven world. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends and colleagues so they can also stay updated on the latest news and gain powerful insights. Stay tuned for more updates.